This has been such an emotional week between Endgame and this episode. I don't know how I survived, but I'm pretty sure I have like 50 new gray hairs. Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads, and this is our talk about what happened in Season 8, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones. I just would like to start by saying I take notes about...
Copious amounts of notes.
A lot of notes about what happens in the episode, and generally it's just like random like one-liners of like this, so I can remember certain thoughts that I had. This one, a lot of it was just capitals, and a lot of it was like writing over itself because I was so stressed. And then at one point, I didn't realize this, but I just wrote, "Run, run, run, oh my god." That was a note that I made in my book. So, I think that says really all there is to say about my emotional state during this episode. It was the most stressful thing I've ever watched, the most stressful episode I've ever seen in Game of Thrones, and that's saying something. And Christian, I'd like to know what your opinion was. You had a more emotional turmoil than I did.
Yeah, so all my favorite characters that died.
Yeah, all his favorites died.
Overall, I think the episode was fantastic. It was the best out of the season. Obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course,
so
definitely.
From what we've seen, it surpassed the hype of the first episode. And,
yes.
And the emotional impact had more weight to it than the second episode. And the fact that we got, like, everyone talking the previous episode, we were able to brush past all of that and we were just focused on the battle.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of dialogue in this, and I think it's because it was such a battle-heavy episode, and we all knew that going in. What I really enjoyed was, like, it was so battle-heavy, but they really did work hard on like, the flow of the whole thing. Yeah. So it wasn't just straight, like, sword fighting the whole time. It wasn't just straight, like, planning and plotting either. But it was a good mix of both, and it was, like, the dialogue that we did get was very impactful throughout the entire episode.
I would love to see the script for this episode, because usually with scripts, you'll see, like, a lot of dialogue and then quick little explanations and how they described everything.
And, like, what the character's emotional response was, like, written in script form. That would be really great. We've known this was a battle that was coming for a really long time, and I think they executed it really well. It was, like, one of the most It reminded me a lot of Lord of the Rings. It was basically, like, a movie set battle, and it was amazing. And all the extras and the actors and everyone did such a great job. Just props to them. I think another really important part of this episode was it wrapped up a ton of storylines.
Yeah, it really did.
Okay, there are a lot of questions that I have, but also there was a lot that I kind of saw coming as the episode went, and then looking back after it happened, some events were so foreshadowed, but they were done so slowly that we had no idea. So, for example, one of the biggest ones was Arya. The biggest reveals was that she was going to kill the Night King, and I was watching in the post like credit scene where they talk about everything that happened in behind the scenes, and they said they had been planning this for at least 3 years now.
Yeah.
And so if you look back, especially towards the past, few seasons that have come out in that time, you could kind of see the points where they start to hit more and more of those foreshadowing
completely,
clues.
yeah. Like, her entire training has been up for that moment. Like, she used all her training, all her skills to slay the Night King. And I feel like they did it so well that the moment it happened, the moment she appeared on screen jumping at him, you're like, that's it. That's what she's been training for. So I love all of that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even just like in when she's talking to Melisandre, like the you're going to close many eyes. Like, just hearing that line again is all of a sudden it hits you more. And then what do we say to the god of death? Like, that's been her whole mantra, and he is basically the god of death, right?
Essentially,
he's like the god who's controlling the dead army. So, essentially he is the god of death. Yeah. He wants to bring death and darkness to the world.
I didn't even actually think of it that way, but that's a good
like, what do we say to the god of death? Not today.
Yeah,
so.
I was just thinking, like, he was an agent of death, like, because they were saying how the White Walkers and him were just essentially death itself. And so for me, I thought, oh, that's an agent of death, and Arya's saying not today. So, but I like that too,
And I'm interested to see, because we have the brown eyes where she kills the Freys. We have the blue eyes, which is now the Night King. I'm wondering if green eyes, if it is going to be Cersei, because if she is supposed to kill Cersei, I'm really worried that will be her last act and she's going to die while doing it. Now that they've defeated the Night King, a lot of the characters are going to get really cocky. Maybe not a lot of them, but I think definitely, like, Dany's going to be really cocky. Like, we defeated the biggest war, now all we have to do left is take the throne from Cersei. I don't want them to underestimate and, like, think now that just because they defeated, like, this dead army means that they don't have to take Cersei any less seriously as a threat. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Arya if she is supposed to kill Cersei. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. Yeah, so Arya's my favorite. I stan an amazing character, and I've always loved her, and she's always been my favorite, and now I have now I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that she was the one to do it because she's been my favorite for a long time, and I just feel like this is her season to shine, especially.
I love that they didn't go the classic route with John being the one to kill the Night King.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, it would have been too obvious.
It would have been too obvious, yeah.
And his job was to prepare everyone for the long night, basically, for this entire battle. Then he got his job done, and he survived.
Yeah.
But Arya's job is essentially to kill him. She is an assassin, and she killed him.
Yeah.
So she did her job, and John did his. So I feel like it was really well done.
It was so well done. So that was really exciting. And then, of course, leading up to that, I feel like that was like the major thing that happened this episode. Like that was the goal. It was just like the penultimate conclusion of like this chapter is now officially over. Leading up to that, we had a lot of character deaths. There was more than 7 overall, but like 7 of the cast that we know by name. So there was Ed, there was Beric. There was Theon. Jorah, Lyanna, I know they're his 2 favorites, and Melisandre.
Melisandre, yeah.
And then I guess if we count the Night King, because he was a pretty major character, he did die too, so that was 7.
So what I'm surprised is, like, not a lot of the other characters died. Not that I'm not happy about that.
Oh, I am too.
Happy. But I am surprised that not more deaths happened, you know?
And it makes me worried.
Oh, it totally does.
It makes me really worried because I leading up to this, like, okay, nobody's died, and then this was the episode where I'm like, okay, we're gonna lose a lot of people, but we'll just get it over with. We're halfway through, and then
and we talked a lot about, like, for me, it was very surprising Brienne didn't die.
I'm very surprised
because we talked about how, like, essentially her story arc is completed. So now I'm just worried about what's happening next, which again, this show does fantastic job making you worry about that kind of thing.
I know it never makes anything too obvious. Like there are certain things you can see coming, but then there's others where it's like, oh, this I would have never guessed. So let's talk about the deaths. I think Theon had, all of the deaths that were on screen were pretty fulfilling. Even though they had to die, it was done in a way that felt very respectful and purposeful. Theon had such an amazing arc, and he got to hear the words that he's been looking forward to hearing, and like trying to earn the entire, ever since he's kind of come back to himself.
Oh, completely. And even from the get-go, he's always wanted to be a good man. He's always wanted to exemplify the father figure in his life. That was Ned Stark, and his entire story, from Theon to Reek to Theon the Redeemed, essentially. It's him being a good man, and he had a good death.
He did.
That was a good death. That was he fought protecting his family.
Yes.
And his home, essentially. And
protecting the person he had betrayed. Yeah. Basically. Like, the most strongly.
He redeemed himself.
He did redeem himself. And it was very sad, but also he was one of the deaths that I could see coming.
Oh,
because
completely,
he was, like, protecting Bran. He said that the Night King is going to try to kill him, and when Theon volunteers, it's kind of like, this is, like, the ending. Yeah. And then Jorah came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that one.
Jorah, I literally thought he was going to be fine until the last minute.
Yeah.
Like, he was fighting. He was standing tall. He was fighting. Jorah's death was the most satisfying out of all of them, I believe. He literally personified their house motto. Here we stand. Yeah. And as many blows as he took, he died protecting the woman he loved. The woman he vowed his entire life to. I think that was just fantastic. Like that's a good send off for that character. Yeah. I hate the fact that he's dead because he was one of my favorites, but
all your favorites are dead.
I'm so happy. And speaking of Mormonts, Lyanna had the best death.
Oh my gosh.
She had the best death.
She was on fire this whole time. I felt like this was another part where they foreshadowed because they were both fighting about who should be out. I expected like one of them to. I didn't expect them both to go.
Same. And I think that I love that too. I think that playing on one of the Mormonts is dead. The other one will be fine. Nope, they're both dead. But that whole David and Goliath aspect of her.
Oh, yeah.
That was fantastic.
Definitely.
It was the best.
It was the best ending for her to go out on because she is such a strong character, and what better way for her to die than to take out one of the strongest opponents on the field.
Oh, completely, yeah.
And then we had Beric. I think when he died and Melisandre came in and was kind of like he served his purpose, I'm like, all right, he died so that Arya could live.
Yeah, that wasn't like hidden or anything at all. That was clearly saying, hey, he died protecting you. He did his purpose.
Yeah, and so that was kind of like a very much like, oh my god, okay.
Yeah, that's when...
So now we're hitting the truth of like...
That's when all the pieces fell into place.
Yeah, so, but even him, he stood and took like all those blows to give them that extra bit of time just to run.
I thought Melisandre was gonna... Because she kept saying she was gonna die then, so I thought she was going to give her like life force to him. But...
See, I thought that, but with Jorah. I thought that when she was walking out onto the field, like that's what she was gonna do, but then she just took off everything and died. So.
Which I totally get. She had the wizard's death, which I thought was great.
Yeah, she did. Very magical, very mystical, and mysterious. Basically all the M's.
Yeah.
And I like that not every character had these big moments. Like, Lyanna obviously had a huge moment. Jorah had a huge moment. Theon did. But, like, Beric's moment was very, like, subtle and, like, it just kind of, like, happened in the heat of battle. Melisandre's was also very quiet. She just kind of walked off by herself and only really Davos really saw her. Yeah. And he kind of was just making sure that she fulfilled what she told him at the beginning.
Ed also kind of died in a way that I was happy with.
I was, too. Yeah, I was so
because it wasn't, like, Sam. This big, like, woe is me kind of death. It was really just heat of the battle. This is a warrior's death kind of thing, and, you know,
this is what happens.
This is what happens in war. And I kind of touched on that, too. I was happy that not a lot of people, like, had a big dramatic death. Like, it's just quick. And it really, during the battle at the Night's Watch, like, when they were battling the wildlings, Pip died similarly to Ed, right in front of Sam with just blood.
I know. Yeah. Oh, poor Sam.
So Sam just has to deal with that a lot.
Yeah. There were so many great things about this episode. I called, like, the minute I saw Sansa heading down into the crypts, I'm like, something is going to happen in the crypts, and it's all going to be terrible. They're going to do something. It's not going to be as safe. And then the Night King raised the new dead. And, of course, that included people in the crypts, which no one, I think, thought about or realized, because that's where all the dead people are buried. And then...
Well, they did keep hinting that the crypts are safe. The crypts are safe. Like, no.
I know.
No. Why do you keep saying that? You said it 7 times. It's not. This is Game of Thrones. Haven't you seen your episode?
But I loved those quiet moments, too, between Sansa and Tyrion and Missandei and Varys and just everyone in there. They were all very subtle, quick moments, but you kind of caught, like, that tension of just not... Like, there's more to this battle than just the fighting part. There's the tension of the people who are waiting, who don't know what's going to happen.
And there's the dealing of after. Like, what happens after. And I think that's important. The fact that we still have 3 episodes.
I'm so worried,
And so much happened in the first 3.
I'm really worried for next episode because so much of the army was decimated in this battle. And I'm worried that going into the King's Landing... with them having all these new troops and people who are fresh and who haven't had to deal with the stress of the Night Walkers and just that whole battle, the longest night, and being in the north, which is a completely, like, very harsh climate.
Oh, completely.
And then having to make the journey to King's Landing, I'm worried that their troops are not going to do as well, even with the dragons. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm excited for these next 3 episodes, though. It has been so... I mean, honestly, all 3 of these so far have been very fulfilling, and checking in as kind of a halfway point, I feel like it's a very like satisfying, awesome season so far. It's definitely a good one to go out on, and they're doing their best to really kind of hit all of the points that they've been building up to.
But this was a emotional episode.
Yes,
there was just a lot. But there's one thing we can take out of it, and we can be happy about. Ghost is alive.
So those are our thoughts and opinions on season 8, episode 3. We had to actually push recording this video back a little bit because I wanted to watch the episode again and just kind of get a full view of everything that happened while I'm not panicking and freaking out and just super stressed.
She hit me with a pen one time.
I did. He was talking.
I wasn't talking. I was screaming. I was so happy.
That too. But those are our thoughts and opinions. We would love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please feel free to share whatever you were thinking during this episode, what your predictions are for the next episode in the season. And if you want to see more of Christian, then make sure you follow him on Twitter. He is @PacifistPickle.
Hello.
And if you want to see more of me, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload Bookish videos twice a week, as well as reaction videos whenever something cool comes out that I want to react to. But that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Okay. Bye.